The 100 men versus 1 gorilla debate. My synopsis. Logically, the gorilla won't be beaten by all 100 men. He may, and I say that with strong doubt, possibly be finished off by the men that remain alive, and were possibly able to defeat a seriously injured and depleted gorilla after he's killed most of them. But even that's a maybe, because what if he's not injured or depleted enough? He's still much stronger than any 4 to 9 men together, and without weapons, which man is going to step up first after witnessing the destruction put on the first few men to die? Go on. I'll wait. If you can find a group of 100 men where at least 10 of them are willing to attack first, that would make this scenario just a little bit more believable. Hell, I'm a pretty skilled jiu-jitsu practitioner for close to 40 years, and I wouldn't even test my skills against one 4-handed canine-toothed chimp. There's almost a guarantee you won't find any size group of men where there'll be someone amongst them willing to be the first to attack a fucking gorilla, knowing that they're probably going to die. There's even one woman on a different social media platform stating that she believes that 100 men could take one gorilla, where she then gives her reasons as to why she believes this. One of her tactics being that if all of the men rushed the gorilla at the same time and then stomped him out. And with that being said, I say she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. First of all, if all of the men rushed the gorilla at one time, what space would they then have all piled on top of each other to do any sort of damage to the gorilla? You can't stomp something out with something on top of you that's on top of something else that's on top. They're all in a pile. How are they gonna do? Second, have you done any research on the muscle mass and skeletal bone build of a fucking gorilla versus a human? They're built like flesh tanks, and I really don't believe that there's anything even the strongest human could do barehanded that's going to cause a gorilla any serious damage. Now, the gorilla, on the other hand, has the strength of 20 of these guys. Plus, he has fucking canines. Unless you can find 100 mentally insane men with no conscious fear of dying, there are no sane men that, having witnessed a gorilla bite the side of another man's entire throat out while ripping another man's arm/leg off and beating the nearest dying man to death with that limb, no man that's not insane is going to choose to attack a fucking gorilla. There are no sane men who would do this. Third, who's going first? Nobody is going to choose to go first, especially knowing they're going to die. I don't care how big you are, how strong you are, how brave you are, how many men you got backing you. Nobody is going to choose to be the first to attack a fucking gorilla. Oh, she suggested that they all be in a cage. You're going to attack a gorilla in a cage with no weapons. Fuck out of here. Here we have an example of a group of men piling onto a gorilla. But I'd like to point something out that happens just about here. You see where that man's head is? There's nobody really doing anything specific to the gorilla to prevent him from chomping down on this man's jugular and face. So, what do you think immediately happens when that happens? I say that any other man in the vicinity of that gorilla's mouth, even close to it, with an arm, is vacating the area expeditiously. Let's wait to hold the gorilla down, and oop, he's up again. And he's fucking angry. Even more angry than he was before. You see, nobody's taken into account the fear these men would feel seeing a wild animal rip a man's body parts off. And that man was standing next to them. None of them by themselves could actually beat a gorilla to death with their bare hands. And they definitely can't even attempt to do it if they're all trying to simply hold it down. So they're all basically wrestling the gorilla while the gorilla is killing them. I honestly believe that out of pure fear-driven anxiety, some of these guys would actually try ripping bars from the cage. Something that's clearly impossible, but they'll still try because in their minds, they believe they have a better chance of breaking one of those steel bars off than they have with this gorilla. Some of them would probably even die while trying to rip away a piece of steel cage while a gorilla is ripping them apart. I know you can't see it, but that's because you're not in the situation. And you never will be. You can brag all you want about kicking a gorilla's ass over the internet, but that's because the situation will never arise where you have to do it in real life. That you can actually kick a gorilla's ass. Imagine you in a cage with 100 toddlers. Even if you gave each of them a bat or a blade, they're not strong enough to beat you. Same, nigga. This nigga has 4 hands, yo, and a skull with neck muscles so dense that even the strongest man in the fucking world would never be able to knock this nigga out simply by punching him in the face and head.
Are you stronger than the silverback gorilla? They are able to lift more than 10 times their own body weight, and according to research, they could bench press more than 5,000 pounds. The bodies of these gorillas consist mainly of muscles, and their body fat can be as low as 5 to 10. Years of research have shown that the silverback gorilla is stronger than 30 adult men combined.
He can hang upside down in that cage and randomly snatch niggas up 4 hands out of reach of the other niggas and beat the fuck out of everybody one at a time, one by one, hanging upside down. This woman also suggested that all of the men be bodybuilder types with huge muscles. Do you know how fast a gorilla is? Do you know how not fast them bodybuilder type dudes are? Have you ever witnessed a big strong dude try boxing or wrestling or MMA for the first time and gas the fuck out in about 30 seconds? Gorillas don't eat nothing but leaves, berries, and twigs. Them niggas ain't gassing out. Most of the guys that were in the comment section who actually think that they could go with a gorilla, even with 100 other dudes, these same guys would have major difficulty with a fucking squirrel or a cat or any other wild animal. These same beast mode niggas won't even take out the trash because of raccoons in the bins, crossing the street, or jumping on the hood of cars when they see pit bulls. Talk is cheap and internet gangsters are forever. This debate is over.